Over the weekend, while performing at the Comedy Zone in Jacksonville, Florida, comedian Affion Crockett was confronted by a woman who walked on stage during his performance just to let him know that she didn't like his jokes. The woman claimed that the comedian offended a lot of people tonight, but when Crockett asked the crowd if they were offended, they all said no. The woman was then escorted off stage while the crowd started chanting the name Karen. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Vanessa Fraction and Pierre, on the show to talk about the Affion Crockett situation and how to deal with hecklers. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
Ma'am, it's a goddamn comedy show. What the f it is? You gotta ingest this. I wanna know. What do you wanna know?
I'm a woman.
We know you're a woman. We can tell.
I'm married to a man. But
Good.
You insulted a lot of people tonight.
How? How am I insulting people by talking about sexual matters between adults? I'm talking about consenting adult shit. I have sex. I have sex with women. So me being up here describing my life is insulting to you? Then how can you speak for the whole crowd and tell me that I'm insulting them? Who is anybody insulting? Hi, Karen. See, white people be thinking they can do whatever the fuck they want. Storm the Capitol or storm my goddamn stage.
Now, I want to jump right into this, Pierre. I'm going to start with you. What was your first reactions when you saw that clip?
Holy crap. Man, what is that? Audience gone wild? It's absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, come on. First of all, she stayed up there too long. Somebody should have yanked her behind off the stage a lot quicker than that. I don't know why to give her a platform to even talk. It's a comedy show. You know, they close people, they quiet people up quicker in the audience sometimes when they sit there heckling. So to let her up there for a while, I don't know who the first white woman was talking to her with that outfit at then she got off and somebody else went to talk to her. But my man Affion handled it, correctly. Just, turned it on against her. He's a comedic, vet, so he knew what to do. But that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and big kudos to him because, I completely agree with that. He definitely handled that very well. Vanessa, I want to come to you next. What was your first reactions when you saw that clip?
What the f is going on? I literally was like, what the f is going on? Is somebody on stage? And like Pierre said, why was she up there so long? You know what I mean? Or whatever. And again, kudos to Affion. And we as comedians are curious. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would you do this? You know what I'm saying? Like Pierre had said she might have mental issues. I don't know if it's alcohol issues or what the issue is. But in what place, when you're going for entertainment, do you jump on stage and let folks know your displeasure? Do you do that on Broadway? Do you do that at the movie theater? Where do you do that at? You know what I mean? Like, it was just absolutely ridiculous that someone would have the audacity, you know what I'm saying, to jump your monkey ass.
She white. White people have that audacity.
Like, what is, and then he said it, you know what I'm saying? Affion said it, like, y'all, you storm my stage like you stormed the Cap, like you got some right to do this. This is not your right to do this. You're ruining it for everyone else because of your personal opinions. You could have just walked out. You could have used the feet that you used to walk on stage and walk your ass out the door.
Well, Affion has responded to all the controversy this weekend in an Instagram video to address everything that went on. So I want us to take a look at that. Let's take a look at that clip.
Karen, I'm not a Karen. She had that Kyle Rittenhouse cry. I'm not a Karen. I could understand. No, you know what? I ain't gonna say that. I was about to say I could understand if I was talking about racism and all that kind of shit, but no, f that. I could talk about racism because we are the victims of racism. And if that offends you, you need to fucking leave, especially if you're a white woman. But I wasn't even talking about nothing deep. We was talking about, which for me is deep because my dick is long. But like I said, it's not, don't get it in your mind that you're gonna do it again. Big boy, what up? Don't get it in your mind that you're gonna do it again. I'm canceled now. You can't cancel me, nigga. I'm uncancelable. I don't give a fuck. You can cancel these goddamn nuts. Ain't no such thing as canceled in my world, nigga. I'm alive, nigga. I'm here.
Now, like we said, he handled it great. I think in his response, he's basically suggesting that she should have just left. If she didn't like what he was saying or the jokes that he had to say, like you mentioned earlier, Vanessa, the same feet that you walked in or the same door that you came in, you could have left. But Pierre, I want to throw it back to you. What are your thoughts in his response?
I agree with the deepness. I did appreciate that. We relate. I relate with him. You know, it was what it was. But yeah, you know, the entitlement line is what for her to be that bold to think she can walk up on somebody's performance and say what I want, you know, she has a gripe with it, is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you know, where are we at? I mean, I don't see, you know, I don't know, man. It's anybody should never step on somebody's stage. And again, you know, it should have been prevented before it got to that far, because you got to get up from something unless you're sitting on the front seat. And next time you're gonna be mad when a comedian kick your ass in the face as you try to get up on stage. Okay, so it's gonna get ugly then.
Vanessa, I'll bring that to you as well. What are your thoughts on Affion's response on Instagram?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, he gave an appropriate response. It was funny. It was to the point and deep, very deep, as he put it, very, very, very deep. And you know, just to even have to address the absurdity of it all, you know what I mean? Like he you know, he said what he had to say. The entitlement, also that's not going to happen again. You know what I mean? I'm sure that as he continues to tour and as we do, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, can we get security to be on point? You know what I mean? Like, what's security here for? You're not supposed to be stopping people from coming in at this point. You know.
And yeah, and I think you bring up a great point, because we've seen, you know, comedians like Steve Brown, DC Young Fly, have people come on stage, whether it's, you know, saying, hey, I don't like this, or with a chair. I want to ask you, Vanessa, do you think there's enough safety protocols for comedians at this point?
No, I would have to say no, because these incidents, it's not a solo incident. This is happening in a lot of different places, and those were just two examples of them. I can say that the response time is just really what I'm really having the issue with. Sometimes they actually have security there, and I know, you know, it's a lot of ground to cover or what have you, but normally it's kind of not. It's pretty direct, you know what I mean, from the door to the stage, you know, and to not be able to respond at an appropriate time, I think it's just, you know, it's not fair to the comedian who is there to provide a service, you know what I mean? Just because somebody looks harmless or some shit like that doesn't matter, because they're not gonna be harmless if they have a weapon or a gun or something, you know what I mean? Or something like that. Like, you know, people need to respond quicker.
No, you bring up a great point. I want to bring that same question to you, Pierre. Do you think there's enough safety protocols put in place for comedians?
Well, you know, we've been doing this for years. Comedy clubs been doing comedy for years. Things have happened. What safety do we need? I understand that we need a security guard now. Are we living in this kind of time where a security guard needs to be on the side of the stage? You know, what happens if somebody grabs you on the other side of the stage? It's absolutely crazy. First of all, your friends who should have be more rational around you to not let you get up off your chair to get up into onto the stage. Where are her friends around her saying, hey, come on, we ain't doing all that. Come on back. Or if she seemed to be drunk in some sort, or have a mental issue, but she seemed to be drunk. If she's out of hand, sitting at the table, your friends should be like, come on, girl, let's go. We're going to leave, or you act a fool. Let's go. Or before they get up, grab them and not let them get up there. But for somebody let you get up there and you act a fool, I mean, she was drunk. So, you know, what security we need? I mean, we're not going to have policemen in the comedy club on the side of the stage. It ain't this kind of show every show. They don't do that.
Or are we, Pierre?
No, we ain't gonna have that. No, we ain't gonna have that. You know, that ain't gonna happen. Now, let's say, I don't know how fast she got on stage. If they all have bouncers at clubs, or somebody that does some security at the front door, that person should have his eye on hearing how it's rumbling, and see that person going up. Then you go if you're in the corner, walk up there, and you handle it real quick or something like that. But for her to be up there for so long, where was the security? If they had security? You know, every club has a security guard. You know, they do. Almost every club has security, some form of bouncer security in club, because people get drunk and get thrown out. So where was that person at that could have handled that a lot quicker, so we wouldn't be talking about this right now?
And I feel like even when they escorted her off stage, it seemed so like gentle and trying to like talk her through, instead of just like, you're crossing the line at this point. Let me if I have to pick you up and take you off stage. I didn't feel like they did that. But let me ask you this, Pierre, and then I want to bring it to you, Vanessa. How would you respond in a situation like that? Like I said, I know we've seen comedians kind of handle that. Like, how do you handle that? And being that you've been in the game for so long, Pierre, I'll start with you.
Well, just like Affion handled it. He handled it correctly. You know, he stood to the side, let them do what they got to do. As long as you don't physically touch me or come up and put your hands on me, you're just talking trash. He's waiting for the security for people to come up to handle their business. So he handled it professionally, because he didn't hit her, then she could have sued him because she didn't put her hands on him. And if they'd yanked her off stage and threw her, yanked her through the club, she could have kicked her foot out, hit somebody in the jaw, and broke somebody's tooth, and they sued in the club. They took her out properly. You don't want to yank nobody out and pull them up and throw them and screaming and yelling, because if something happens, glass gets broken, it can hit your eye, and the club gets sued. So if I can escort you nicely, now your ass probably won't be able to get back in again if I can ever see you again. You're disbarred from that, from coming to this comedy club. But that's how to handle it.
I'll bring that same question to you, Vanessa. How would you handle if you were in a situation like this?
I think you never know until you're actually in it. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I think one of the things that I would do is actually leave stage. Usually the door to backstage is right there on the stage or right there near the stage. So I would probably leave stage and on the mic say, look, I'm not returning until this person is off the stage. Only one of us can be on stage. It's my show. So, yeah. Y'all can do what y'all want with that. But I'm going to go back here where it's safe. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what someone's going to do. And I've seen people be erratic. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you do unexpected things. And so I think one of the things that you can do is actually immediately leave stage yourself. You know what I mean? Because, you don't want any violence to take place. I don't know how harmless someone is, with some of the attack, some of the things that happened, like you said, with Steve Brown or I believe it's DC Young Fly, or whatever. There was somebody that was quite aggressive, but I just don't know when aggression could start. So for me, my safety is first. And so I think that removing myself from the situation is also an alternate way to.
And I don't wish that on either one of you or any comedians or anybody that's in a performing state, someone storming the stage and doing like that. Again, kudos to Affion for handling that so well. And I'm so glad that it didn't escalate past what it did. So kudos to you, Affion. We're happy you're okay and able to move forward. As always, I appreciate y'all for calling and chiming in on this. I hope we do figure something out, because to see these stories is getting more and more. Honestly, I haven't. It's kind of like, you sit back and you wait for the people to do their job. I have security there, so I hope that, someone steps in and really take hold of these issues that we're seeing. But thank you all so much for chiming in. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about how Affion responded to all the controversy over the weekend? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
And you got to put this in the comments.
For real. Put it in the comments.
Oh, man.
To see all that. All of it.
What would Jesus do, Chad?
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.